there's a lot of angst amongst the people of, will there be another one? When will it come? What's going to happen to us? So there's a lot of psychological trauma amongst these people. You can see they're very, very frightened, very worried, unsure of, uncertain about their safety and also their financial futures, really.
It is indeed a very small world thanks to the power of media, internet, satellites and such. When disaster strikes close to home in Philadelphia or on the other side of the planet in Nepal, the pictures bring it all home, up close and very personal. But far too often it's the injuries we cannot see, we never see, that last the longest and the ones that need a really strong guiding hand. Our guest is president of Disaster Psychiatry Outreach, a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing mental health treatment after incidents such as these. And he will be leading a trip to Nepal soon to help there. Welcome Dr. Sander Koyfman to the Hardline. Doctor, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me a chance to talk about this.
It is a pleasure. When it comes to something like this, whether it's Philadelphia, Nepal, anything, a disaster that happens, what is the triggers usually for the people that are involved? Because they never immediately think they need mental health care, but there's a time and something that happens. It takes a little while for them to realize it. Do we understand what those triggers are?
These are deeply personal, and it all depends on numerous factors. Previous history of trauma is a very significant one, but the closeness of trauma, direct exposure, just how closely those who you love are affected or yourself in the line of fire, so to say, that impacts what ultimately is going to be the outcome.
How much of a priority is it to get mental health treatment to these people following a disaster? And I say, as far as time is concerned, is it something that should happen almost immediately? It takes a while for it to germinate? What's the number here? What's the idea?
Well, the basic needs, the basic safety needs need to be met first. And that we all are comfortable with, and we talk about it frequently. Now, how soon do you need mental health support? As soon as possible, and in disaster zones, think Nepal, it is a very fluid process. It depends on numerous factors, but once there is a roof over one's head that feels safe, once there are basic needs such as food, shelter taken care of, there is an opportunity to either have a very long and painful path to recovery, or finding the ways to support and find the local, sustainable resources to do so can really shorten that path and decrease the suffering. And this is what our organization is all about.
Is it fair to say that many times when we think about the mental health issues here, there are the victims, but there's the first responders? Certainly we saw an awful lot of it after 9/11, but those people who go in and see it and they experience it as well, it creates just as dramatic an impact on them, does it not?
Oh, enormously so. And the support for volunteers, support for family members of volunteers, all of this is what we emphasize and really would try very hard in months and years to come after what struck Nepal, after what folks closer to home are experiencing or have experienced after, for example, Boston Marathon bombings and the like, drawing attention to this, making sure that folks know that help is out there, help is available, there are useful, safe resources that aren't extremely costly, can be sustainable, can be easily made available with the right preparation and education. This is really the mission.
Doctor, about the minute or so that we have left here, what is your method for treating people through Disaster Psychiatry Outreach?
We focus on preparedness, education, and response. We prepare, we amass information on what are the best practices, how to do it right. Then we connect with people on the ground. We never go uninvited. We always need and mandate a local ask. We want to bring the help that is welcome and wanted and needed rather than go in cold. And then we respond whenever it's possible, whenever the cultural and language barriers aren't barriers that are unsurmountable, and we work with local providers. And this is basically what we do. We focus on education, we focus on preparedness, we bring attention to providers, we bring attention to volunteers, we give them the tools to be effective and to be safe doing this work.
I just have 15 seconds left. Have you ever been in a zone or something like Nepal before?
Yes, I worked in Sri Lanka after the tsunami and had other opportunities to work after 9/11 was really our biggest response. So this strikes home and is very meaningful for us.
Certainly then you know what you're going to expect. It is going to be difficult over there. Certainly I wish you and your organization a great amount of success, a great amount of luck, please, because you're going in there and you're doing work that will absolutely be needed in a devastated region. Dr. Sandra Koyfman, I want to thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
It is our pleasure. Stay with us. The fastest 60 minutes in news continues.